We are on day 3 of installation, almost ready for countertop measuring. That should be coming later today. So now we're focused on getting this island set, and we're gonna run through how we made these with Highland products. The island top is a little wider than 60 inches. So we have these legs coming out a little bit further. So this gives you room to sit, and then it gives you that support for the actual top. Having this nice beefy edge on both sides gives it a nice furniture look. And then we'll have furniture base that also wraps around that to just give it that blocky look on the island. For the wall, we're basically gonna make an exoskeleton underneath it and then do the panels to it so they have proper support. With some extra material we have left over from the refrigerator panels, we are going to make basically a wall. And then the front fillers get attached to the sides, and then you just put the panels up. So everything was undersized a little bit more than a 1/2 inch because it's 1/2 inch panels going onto the side. We're gonna assemble this. I'm gonna put them on, it's a 60-inch wall, so I'm gonna put them on 15-inch centers. And then from there, I'll take our vertical pieces, and these were cut to 33.5 because we want this wall to be the same height as the cabinets, which is 34.5. So 33.5 plus 1/2 inch gets us to that height. Thank you. And then I attach these on before I put them onto the skeleton. So we're gonna go 1/2 strong on each side. I put just a 23 gauge nail in just to hold it in place. And then after that, I will do some screws to actually really secure it, and set your pre-drill to the size of your screw. Pre-drill, always, you don't want to split that filler or split this piece because then it just compromises your structural rigidity of the item. So always pre-drill everything. That's like the #1 tip I can recommend for installation. Pre-drill all the things. And now we can attach the filler piece, and it should be flush with the bottom and flush with the top. On the bottom, I'm gonna use the 18 gauge just because we are having base that goes around this, so you won't see it. And then on the top, I will just use the 23 gauge to basically hold it in place. And then once this gets screwed to the cabinets, the screws will actually go into the panel. That kind of squares up the whole wall and adds a lot of structure to it. So now there's no flimsiness to it. And now we have the other side to go on, and then we'll have a fully slate wrapped wall. So these are getting covered with deco doors, which are basically just plain doors that would go on cabinets, but instead they're put on the sides to give it that finished look. Kind of finishes it out to have that same shaker style on the entire island. So all sides are shaker. Adds a extra finished look to it. Pretty much I gotta screw everything together, and then it moves all as one, and then I have to screw it to the floor. So you wanna make sure the island's staying square. So it's good to shim these back just to make sure it all runs straight and doesn't like start taking a curve. And also I screw them together just like I did here to the wall. Another highlight of why Highland Cabinetry is a good cabinet to go with is because you do have ply that is a little more structurally sound versus the particle board that likely would rip apart with only that much grab. You may be questioning why I ran this filler all the way to the ground versus the other base cabinets where it ends at the bottom of the cabinet. And the reason is because this is actually getting a base that goes on the face cross, because you don't need that toe room because it is under the island. So you want to have that finished look, and having the base run to the actual face gives it more of a furniture look. I'll run both fillers all the way to the ground just so it adds extra material you can nail that base to. Since these cabinets are getting screwed to a wall, they're just getting screwed together, and then we're going to screw them to the floor. We want to make sure everything is square. So openings like this, you want to make sure they are the same front and back. So this is an 1.75 inch, and then you can screw these cabinets together. With the face frames, you have your 1/4 inch, and when they're put together, it makes a 1/2. So I just use some offcut from the skins, which is a 1/2 inch wide skin right there to make sure these cabinets are parallel. So we'll just screw cabinet to cabinet, and then this will be completely locked in and won't be moving in the back at all. This is all pretty sturdy together, so this all should move as one. I'm gonna wait to put the sink basin just because I'm gonna have to cut for plumbing. And I wanna have this exactly where it needs to be before I make those cuts for the plumbing holes, because I don't wanna have to oversize those or them be in the wrong spot. So I like to be super precise with those. So I'm gonna get this island set first, and then the sink basin going after. Island centered with the pendant lights, also square with the rest of the kitchen. So measure off of the walls on all sides and make sure it's as close as possible since the walls do have some waviness to them. Laying out your island takes time, but definitely worth it to make sure it's where you want it, because the last thing you want is a crooked island. Right now I'm measuring corner to corner, and we're exactly 108 1/8, both corner to corner. So this island is perfectly square. So taping off on all the corners, since I have it where I want it. One, it'll kind of help it from not moving. And two, if it does move, I can see how far and where I need to move it back to. It's exactly where I want it right now, but once I start drilling, since I have to go at an angle, sometimes it'll suck it to one way or the other. So I'd like to keep it exactly where it is. So today we got the island all set, everything together, ran through the deco wall on the side. So everything should be ready for the countertop guys to come and do the island and then everything around, as well as the back wall uppers. So we're just gonna wait on them to get their measurements. That should be later today. And then after that, we'll jump into the cabinets that go on top. So these get a double stack cabinet. So we'll kind of run through the design aspect of that and what options you have if you do a double stack. Everything else will be just trimmed from there and then we'll be done.